Shiv Baba. We love you, Shiv Baba. Oh my friend Shiv Baba. We love you, Shiv Baba. I'm just a soul, Shiv Baba. The supreme soul is you, Baba. The supreme soul is you, Baba. We love you, Shiv 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 Baba. Baba sunlight, Baba moonlight, Baba is star bright, Baba is snow white, Baba is watching through a searchlight. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. G for generator, Baba. O for operator, Baba. D for destroyer, Baba. God Shiva, my Baba. God Shiva, my Baba. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Wonderful world in a drama. Writer, director, Shiva Rama. Superhero, Brahma Baba. Heroine, Om Radhe Mama. Heroine, Om Radhe Mama. We love you, Mama Baba. We love you, Mama Baba.
Om Shanti. So we love you, Shiv Baba. Oh, my friend, Shiv Baba. Beautiful song. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. To day 6. Almost there. Today, we're going to talk about karma philosophy. The important, very important topic, interesting topic. So the basis of this birth that I have is what I did in the past. As we saw, that every soul is on a journey. We are on a journey and take birth according to our karmas. We are accountable for what we do. We made accountable for what we do. If we do good, we get a good role. If we do bad, we get a bad role. So we all are actors and performing the role on this world drama stage, how we perform, what we do, the actions that we take gives us the next opportunity, the next role. So what is my role and how should I play? Whatever I do, some karmic account is created. And with that, I'll get something in return. And that could be positive or negative, depending on what I did. So how do I know that what is today is a result of my karmic account? So we know this, a beautiful saying, as you sow, so shall you reap. So the karmic philosophy is all about what you give is what you get. And now the other important part is, how do you divide these karmas into the 4 yugas, the 4 ages that we talked about? The way the time cycle of time works. The interesting part is that the karmas are also depending on the time. What time is going on right now? See how important we will connect that whatever we have learned in the cycle of time, how is that making my karmas? How is my karma is depending on the time? What time is signaling me and how my karmas are depending on the time? So we'll talk about that today. So first, the belief that we have, or at least in the Indian religion or in India, it's a common belief. I think it's everywhere as well, that human souls take birth in 84 lakh yonis, 84 lakh species, that you become a snake or a lion or a parrot or a crocodile or whatever. And then you get one birth as a human after going through all that. So the first belief, this belief has to be corrected. And the correction is the human soul. It is a soul of a human. The human soul only take rebirth as a human and not in other species. And there is a reason to that. And the reason is that you take birth, the rebirths that the humans take is on their karmic accounts. And you don't create a karmic account just for yourself. You create a karmic account with the other souls. And you settle your karmic accounts with other souls. So you stay in this human species and settle your karmic accounts. So now, the law of karma, as we all know, I think, whatever we do, we'll get. For every action, there is a result I experience. There is nothing you do that you can run away. Sometimes you think that person is not doing good. he's not doing good to me, or he's not doing good to the nature, he's not doing good to the other people. But the law of karma is always come back and tell that there is a result you experience. So let's talk about the type of karmas. So there are three types of karmas. One is sukarma, and now we will also tie them to the time, the age, the yuga, which is important to know. So first is sukarma, and then we have sukarma is the good actions, the good karmas that we do. Vikarma. So vikarma is the bad actions that we do, the negative actions, karmas that we do. And then the last one is akarma, and it's the neutral actions that don't create any accounts. So let's take one by one. Sukarma. So the sukarma is the good action. So actions performed in the soul consciousness and the remembrance of the God. So you divide actually sukarma into two parts. One is called the punya karma. I don't know what you call in English or what I call in English, but it's more than a giving. So punya karma. So let's just get the definition or how we define punya karma, and then we can understand. So the good act that is done to give somebody happiness, to give somebody peace, is called a punya karma. It is a good act, but here is the thing, the difference. It is done in the body consciousness. The intention is good, but it is done in the body consciousness. So what does that mean? So for example, if I open a hospital today, and my intention is good, that I wanted to help people, get them cured. So I open an hospital, but then I put my name on it, that Samir's hospital, there you go. So I created the karma, the good karma, but I put my name on it because even though my intention was good, but I also wanted that people should remember me, that I did this work. I open a school or a university to help people educate. It's a very good karma. Again, with a good intention of giving education to the poor or people. Maybe I'll make it free education. But then I put my name on it, my university. There you go. Intention is good, but it is in the body consciousness. In India, we open like dharamshalas, the place where people come and take rest. It's like a hotel, but you don't pay anything. You just come there and rest. And there's a lot of people open dharamshalas and temples, but they put the name on it. So it becomes a punya karma. You will get a return actually for that too. But the return that you get is very limited, is very less period. You'll get a return for one birth. But now how you make this punya karma elevated karma. So the second type of sukarma is the elevated karma. So how you make the punya karma elevated karma? So elevated karmas are those that whatever we do in soul conscious state, in the remembrance of God, in the company of God. And if we do in the remembrance of God, in the company of God, they become elevated karmas. The return of elevated karmas are multifold and last for many births. And now I will get to the importance of the time. The knowledge to do the elevated karmas, we only receive at this time, at this confluence age, the Sangam Yuga that we are in. This is the only time, and now the importance of time. This is the only time that we can do elevated karma in the God remembrance. This is the time when God come himself and tell us the method and the way how can we do the elevated karmas. He tells us every day that how to do elevated karmas. And we'll learn about that. And these karmas only, this is an important part, they only happen or can be done in this time, only after the God comes and tells us what that is. So the importance of time again, that this is the time that you have an opportunity to do the elevated karmas. So we'll learn that how the God comes and actually he make us do the elevated karmas. And the return we get is your destiny. The next one is the vikarmas, the bad karmas, the actions that are performed in the body consciousness. Now, what does that mean? That means the actions that we performed in vices and with the consciousness of the body. It creates a bad account, and those accounts give us the pain as we settle these accounts. So whenever we do the bad karmas, the actions that are done in the selfishness, the actions that are done under the influence of the 5 vices, ego, lust, greed, anger, attachment. So whenever we are doing the actions that are selfishness, there we create the bad accounts. So whenever we do bad actions, the accounts get created. And these karmas start from the Dwapar Yuga, from the Copper Age. Again, the importance of time. That the beginning of these karmas happen from the Dwapar, the Copper Age. And that's why in the Hindu calendar, the Dwapar Yuga, the start of Dwapar Yuga is called Vikarma Samvat. It's called Vikarma Samvat. If you have see the Hindu calendar and you will see Vikarma Samvat, which means the beginning of the Vikarmas. And that's the reason we keep taking birth over and over again to settle these accounts, and they become vikarmas. The next one is the akarma, the neutral actions. So the akarmas are the actions performed in the soul consciousness. See how the difference between akarma and the sukarma, the elevated and the neutral. So now the importance of time is whatever actions the deities do in the Satyuga and Treta, in the Golden Age and the Silver Age, these actions are akarmas. They do actions, right? You cannot just like sit. They are running the kingdom, as we saw yesterday. They are doing actions. They have their household, everything, the whole families, everything is there. But the actions that they perform, they are akarmas, the neutral actions. So what does that mean? So the neutral actions do not create any karmic account. They are only done for the survival. You may say the survival, or just to live a life, that simple things that you do. For example, brush your teeth, wake up, take a bath, eat your food. So the things that you do in the survival. So the deities in the Satyuga and Treta, they just do the neutral karmas, action performed in the soul consciousness, do not create any account. So the important things become these neutral actions, the whatever you do becomes the karmas. So now the importance of time, as we see, so karma in this time, the confluence age, vikarma starts during the Vapar Yuga and it keeps going till the end. Still now in the Kali Yuga, vikarmas are going on. And then a karma only happened in the Golden Age. So the importance of time, that how the time and the times signal to us on these karmas. Now let's talk about the rules of the game. Karma rules. Each of my action is accountable. And I think we know that. At least now we know that. My past affects my present. This is important because I get questions and we get confused. Is what is happening to my life right now? What is that? Why I am in so much pain or suffering? So these are the karma rules. Definitely there were some actions that we have done in the past that I was responsible, and the result I am getting now. And that comes the next one. I get what I deserve. Our past karmic accounts are responsible for present. Like some people say that, hey, some people are lucky born with so much. They have done nothing, yet they are doing so good. They do all good, and I am doing all good, but still I'm not getting much. And there are people who are doing so much good, but they don't receiving anything. Why is that? We always get confused as he's lucky, he's not lucky. I'm doing so much, not getting much. He's not doing nothing, but he's getting everything. Why is that? Why is he getting everything and I'm not, even though I am doing all the work? This is the reason. I get what I deserve. It means the past karmic accounts affect the present. So the souls have done something good. in the past, and that's why they are receiving it right now. It's not about what you're doing right now, but you have done in the past, you're receiving right now. And those who are not getting, they have done wrong, something bad. So you're getting it. Next, nothing happens by chance. So nothing is coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. Even this virus is not a coincidence. We did wrong with the nature. We created the accounts with the nature. I'll give you a very beautiful story. So the story is, as you see, and it is a reality too. You know, we have seen sometimes people get into the plane crash. So many people together are sitting in the plane crashed, everybody died. So the question comes, what connection all the passenger in the plane had? Why they all went to the same suffering, hear this, at one particular time. That is important, at one particular time. Why they all went to the same suffering at one particular time. What was the reason? So the answer is nothing is by chance. There is a reason they all are together. There is a reason they got together. There is a reason their karmic accounts pulled them all together to sit in the plane at the same time. Because they have done something together. They created the account that they all became a part of together. So for example, that somebody is killing an animal. So he killed an animal. And then the another person has took that meat and put it on sale. The third person bought that and bring that to home. The fourth person has cooked that for somebody to eat. Fifth person ate it. So you see the connection. The killing was done by one person, and the connection. One who catch that per animal, one who kills it, one who sells it, one who brings it home, one who cooks it, one who eats it. Now they all are a part of this karmic account. They all contributed to this karmic account, to the one karmic account of killing and eating. So all these souls are now connected under this karmic bondage. And so with this connection, they together are going to suffer. That's how many souls together they suffer, because somehow, somewhere, sometime they all came together. They created this account knowingly and unknowingly. See the example that how things are connected. So nothing happens by chance. There is a reason behind everything. And the important is every reason is a karmic account. The next one, no one can snatch others' fortune. That's other thing. Your fortune is yours. If you do negative, you get negative. And if you do positive, you will get positive. Nobody can share your fortune. You can't take or give your fortune to anybody. You're not accountable for someone else's karma. Nobody else is accountable for yours. And the good example is sometimes in a family, one person is suffering, everybody else is happy. Because it's your karmic accounts that you have created. Why would anybody else share that? You shouldn't feel bad when others are happy because you are sad. It is because it's your karmic accounts that you are carrying forward, not theirs. Why would anybody else share your karmic account? Nobody does. You did it. I am responsible for my present state. Whatever I feel right now, what relationship I am in, I am responsible for what I am today. I shouldn't blame anyone. If I'm suffering, I created my suffering. I designed it for myself. I designed my fortune. You shouldn't be blaming God or other people or anyone for that matter. Through my karmas, I did such actions for which what I am today in my present state. So with this understanding, you will be designing your future. Whatever you want in your future, you plan it now. Again, the importance of time. Your karmic account will make it. I am responsible. Always do good karmas. So you can say. So always remember these, the rules of the game, and it will help you to move forward. Very important. So now we understood the sukarmas. We talked about vikarmas. We talked about the neutral actions, and we talked about the time, the importance of this time, that this is the only time that we can do the elevated karmas and design our fortune. So what is the process of cleansing the karma? Karmoga Shuddhikaran. How do we clean our karmas? What is the method? How do I settle? So the two things, there are two methods, two ways. As you see here, cleansing of negative karma depends on our choice, your choice. You do either through experiencing punishments or Rajyoga. But you cannot clean through charitable activities. Look, that is very important. It's not like you do something bad and you just give charity and think, okay, I earned this in a bad way, but I'm going to give a part of it in a charity or donate it and it will neutralize. No, nothing. You got to experience the punishment that you already know, either through suffering, a disease, a tension, or things happening in the life. So there are punishments that soul is in a pain. So this is all what we have done is coming back to me in the form of suffering. And you have to understand that everything is because of my own creation. It's my own karmic accounts. And the other method to cleansing karma is the Rajyoga that we will learn, or we are learning already. The best thing in the world is now we are in a time. We are meeting God. God has come. The real benefit is God given us the way to settle karmic accounts. So that's the important part. That in the Rajyoga, God taught us how to settle the karmic accounts. And the beautiful way is to remember Him. Easiest way is to remember Him, accumulate the power, purifies the soul, and your karmic accounts settle. Remember Him, accumulate the power, purify your soul, and you settle. This is the crux of Rajyoga, these four things that God taught us. Remember me, accumulate the power. Remembering means remember and accumulate the power to do the right action. It's not accumulate power and do nothing. Now, accumulating power and doing the right action. Purify your soul. As you keep doing right action, your soul purifies and your karmic accounts settle. That's the method. The more we in remembrance, the more accounts we settle. It's an easy process once we learn. No penance, nothing. It's your own way to do it. So we learn. So as we said, remember God, get the power to do the right thing. As you keep doing right thing, your soul purifies and your karmic accounts are settling. So today, in this time, again, in this time, the importance of time, two things are happening simultaneously in the present. Two things are happening. What is happening simultaneously? One thing is I have got the knowledge, important thing. I have got the knowledge that first, I am accountable for what is happening in my life right now. I am eating the fruit of the past sown seeds, good ones or the bad ones. I am responsible. So you have an understanding of what is happening in your life today is a result of your karmic account. So stop blaming the people or anybody for that matter. It's your own thing. That's the knowledge you got. That's the knowledge that God gave us. And other side is very important. I have the fortune, opportunity to sow the seed for my future. So both things are in our hand. So I have to do right now that I can design my future. Both are in my hands right now. So with this knowledge, I may have elevated fortune if I perform elevated karmas and make my future elevated, or I keep doing what I'm doing right now or what I was doing and come back to my suffering. So these both things are important. Even to do elevated karmas, the knowledge of these two things are important, is whatever is happening is a result of my own. So I gotta settle my old karmic accounts. That's one. You gotta settle your karmic accounts. Second is I create my fortune. So you sow the seeds, do the elevated karmas, and save for the future. Create your future. So now we'll learn how. It's 7:40. I got a time. All right, we'll keep going. So now what we do. Here comes the important topic now. How do we do that? How do I settle my accounts? We'll learn now foundation of Rajyoga. So as we know in the world today, there are so many types of yogas. Hatha yoga, right? It is doing things with the body, asanas, the pranayama, creating the bodily form so that you get a healthy body. It's called Hatha yoga. And then there is a Gyan yoga, which is there are people who read books, devote time to read scriptures, gathering the info. That's called the Gyan yoga. So the meaning of yoga, the yoga means connection. In this one, you're connecting with your body. In this one, you're connecting with the scriptures. And there is a bhakti yoga, the devotion yoga, where a lot of devotion, bhakti is done, and you are connected with the bhakti yoga. And then there is a mantra yoga, rotating the rosary. And we have seen that chanting the mantras. So now you are connected with the mantras, with the rosary. And then there are people who believe in karma yoga, especially the doctors. They've dedicated their work and they think that is the karma yoga. But above all, the king of all the yogas is the Raj Yoga. Again, there is many reasons we call this a Raj Yoga. The important one is it make us the king of the self, ruling on the self. What does that mean? Right now, we don't have control on ourselves. We get attracted quickly or carried away. Our five sense organs are guiding us. Seeing the things, movies, reading, listening to the gossips, or doing the wrong actions, we get attracted. The organs are driving us. So we need to conquer our mind. As we learned in the first class, our mind is overcoming our intellect and we do the wrong actions. So we have to conquer our mind. We have to become the king of the self. Soul becomes the ruler. Soul becomes the guide. And it's called the Raj Yoga. And the secret is it can only be taught by the God. God is the one who can only teach us. Why? Again, the meaning of yoga means the connection. So the God is the only one that can tell us how to make that connection between a soul and the Supreme Soul. When this connection is made, when this communion happens, then it's called Raj Yoga. Back. When this connection is made, when this communion happens, when this relationship is established, only then it's called Raj Yoga. Only then the power comes to the soul and becomes powerful. There is a self-realization to the soul. Only then we say we become Raj Yogi. I'll repeat that one more time. That this is the Raj Yoga because the connection. Yoga means connection. Connection with the Supreme. Only He can tell us how to make that connection. And when this communion happens, when this connection, when this relationship established, then it's called Raj Yoga. Only then the power come to the soul and it become powerful. As the power come to the soul, as you become powerful, the checking is there is a self-realization. to the soul. And that's why you say you are a Raj Yogi. So what is the basis of Raj Yoga? 4 things. Introduction, the first one. It starts with the introduction. As we saw, introduction of the self. Who am I? As we learned in the day 1, the realization of who am I? And why I need to meditate. There is a thunder and lightning happening. So if you hear the noise, the God is, and the introduction of the God. It starts with that. You have to have the right introduction. Before Raj Yoga, before this course, we didn't had the introduction of the God. We just believed somebody to be a God. Very important. Until or unless you know that, you cannot do any of other 3 things. So the introduction is very important. You have to know who the God is, the right introduction. Second is the relation. This is the basis of Raj Yoga. The relation means the relation to the self. The first relation is the relation to the self. Self-introspection. The more inside you go, the more you talk to yourself, the more you understand the self, the soul, different from the body. That is what it is. Relation to, first of all, you learned who you are as a soul, and then what is your relationship to this body? As we learned again in day 1, that's what I was saying. Every day is an ingredient to the Raj Yoga. This is why. Because you gotta have what is the relation that my body has with the soul? You have to think about it, introspect, go in the introspection, talk to yourself. Then you will find that relation that your soul having with the body. Till now, we thought everything is same, body, soul, one, and we call ourselves a body. No. Have that relation, understand that relation. And second is the relation with the supreme soul, relation with the God. As we learned, before this, we were devotees. We consider ourselves as a devotee and kept the God on the highest of high, away from us. We only go to him when we need something, and that's it. And we keep doing whatever we're doing. But when God came, he said, you are my child. I am your father. Have that relation. So this is the very important basis of Raj Yoga, is the relation, your relation. Without relation, you will not be able to get that connection, that communion that we just talk about. Have that relation, that you are the child of the God. And when that relation you feel, you will then develop the affection with the Supreme. Remembering him as you are his child. You wanted to connect with him, and the power will automatically come. And it comes. Many have experienced. I have experienced. The next basis is attainments. So the attainments are only possible when this relationship of affection is built between a soul and a supreme soul. See how each and every step is creating that relation, that affection, and it becoming the basis of this yoga. Like you asking, what is Raj Yoga? So this is Raj Yoga. The relationship is built between a soul and a supreme soul. God has came to give. It's up to us to how much we can or how much we wanted to take from him. But for that, important point, but for that, you need to have a clean and a clear heart. Very important. Clean and a clear heart. You have to have a pure intention. Things that you're demanding from the God needs to be appropriate. What does that mean? The attainment should be more of a power, the knowledge, the more of how to have an elevated stage and not of materialistic things. This is very important from the attainment standard view. It's like, what do I get from the God? So you have to have a pure intention, clean and clear heart. So if you have a clean and clear heart and pure intention, then things that you demand from the God will automatically become appropriate. Means it's more about the power, the knowledge of more of an elevated stage. How can my stage gets more elevated and not of a materialistic things? Hey God, give me the car, give me the home, give me the admission. That means you don't have a clean and clear heart. You don't have a pure intentions. So if you have a high state, high consciousness, that is Rajyoga. The attainment is getting into the highest elevated consciousness, happy state. The soul is in the happy state of mind, and that is the real attainment of Rajyoga. See how these four things, even listening to them, when I'm talking about them and listening to them, I get into the meditation mode because you talk and then you are experiencing together and you feel that coming to you. So next one, again, with the Raj Yoga, this is what we need to get out of our 5 vices: lust, anger, greed, attachment, ego. So learning the process of Raj Yoga is overcoming our weakness. These are the weaknesses actually that we have. We get attracted, carried away with the greed. I need more money. With the anger. How did you say that? With the attachment. Oh, my love. With the ego. How can you say that? With the lust. So overcoming the desires. That is what. That's how when I said attainment is in the form of the power. When you receive the power, then you overcome these things. When you overcome these things, your actions started becoming elevated because they are not now contain any of these 5 vices. If your actions are not these 5 vices, then they are not vikarmas. They become sukarmas because you're getting the power and you are doing action in the remembrance of the God and the right thing. So the definition of Raj Yoga, I think we already understood, but we'll say, forget your body and all bodily relations. So this is an important line. And it is misunderstood very much. It doesn't mean that you leave your relations. People tend to stay away from their relationships. It doesn't mean that. It means if you look very closely to this line, and understand body. It says body, 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 bodily relations. It means transform this into the soul. The relationship that you are having with your family, transform that relationship from a bodily relation to the soul relation. That as a soul, you are connected with that person as a soul. As you are a soul, he or she is a soul. And consider yourself as a soul and remember God. This is Rajyoga. That you got to get away from all the material possessions, as we saw in the video yesterday, that all these possessions, little eyes, became your identity. The reason God has gave this definition is you need to identify yourself from your soul state, not from your body state, not what you possess, have, but your soul state. That's the reason you got to do this, so that your identity become elevated, not this. The process of Rajyoga, very important. The first is the contemplation, that how do you sit and meditate? Or how do you meditate the whole day? In the Raj Yoga, the meditation is going throughout the day. You literally don't have to just sit down at one place and meditate and then get back to the work and do stuff. No, you just in the meditated state the entire day. And how? This is why it's called a contemplation, meaning you giving a thought, the determined thought to yourself that you are a soul. So whatever you do, the work you do, like when you are working in an office or cooking or doing any household chores, driving, just having that awareness that I am a soul who is doing that act. Bring this awareness. As we learned in the day one, shifting your awareness from the body consciousness to the soul consciousness. Contemplation, the entire day. There are souls who are, again, 50, 60 years in Raj Yoga. They are still doing the first thing, contemplation, that I am a soul. We are still doing this soul because we keep forgetting that we are a soul, and we slowly get into our body and do things based on our body. Contemplation. Keep reminding yourself who you are. Why? Because, as we said, you need to be identified as an elevated soul, not a person who does XYZ. No, get away from that material possessions. Your identity should be your actions. Your identity should be your words. Your identity is your thoughts. That is your identity. If you have that consciousness, that is contemplation. If you have that consciousness throughout the day, you are meditating. You literally don't have to sit. You are in the meditated state the entire day. It's called the contemplation. The awareness. And that awareness brings the consciousness. Your consciousness needs to change. Once your consciousness changes, you accumulate the powers. Only then, very important, only then you will be able to connect with the Supreme. You cannot connect with the Baba. You cannot connect with God if you are not in your soul conscious stage. Very important. This is the, I would say, the crux or the critical part of Raj Yoga is that you are only able to connect if you are in this state of mind. If your entire day has gone in this contemplation or with this consciousness that I wanted to identify myself through what I do, say, or think. And that's, you come to the second stage of concentration. That is the focusing your mind. If you are in the soul state, only then you can concentrate. Otherwise, you get carried away with the negative thoughts, everything that's happening around you. The experience of the soul, the experience of connection. So initially, it will take time. Like when you start running, for example, you got to run for a marathon and you say, let me just start running today. What will happen? You will get pain because you're not used to running. Your body's not used to running. You will only start walking, maybe brisk walk, slowly walking fast, and you will get the pain which you are not used to. So what do you do? So you have two choices. Either you leave altogether. I can't do it because I don't think my bodies can do it. Or you keep doing it, maintaining the discipline, regular, constant, and then it will become natural. We all have experienced this. This is exactly what happens in Raj Yoga. It doesn't happen in a day. It doesn't happen in a second. It doesn't happen right after the course. It will take some time to do that. But you gotta maintain the discipline, the regularity, the constantness. You will not experience any of this day one, maybe not. But it doesn't mean you leave. So if you leave this, you won't run in marathon. If you want to run in marathon, you gotta constant, slowly and slowly try. Take 5 minutes. Take 5-10 minutes daily out of your routine and sit. You might find it difficult to concentrate, to contemplate, but give yourself that time. At least do this in the morning, early morning. Spend some time with yourself and talk to the God. He is now, you know him, listening to you. Do that. Only then the realization happens. Meaning the feeling of the power of God inside you, the self-realization. It only happens after you have that practice. So back, it starts with contemplation. That's what we gotta do. Right? So that's the process of Raj Yoga. 3 stages. And we will do the Raj Yoga meditation sessions so that we can learn or get some techniques. But there is no technique. That's what I would want to say, to do this. What I just said is the technique. That contemplation, it's begin with that. Now, the pillars of Raj Yoga. The first is the pure life. This is very important again. If you are not maintaining any of these 4 pillars that we will talk, then again. You will not be able to connect. Yoga means the connect. Always think about the connection and the communion only happens with the soul, consciousness, and with the purity. So you got to have a pure life. Meaning everything clean inside the mind. Mind needs to be clean. That improves the focus, purity of thought, purity of the body, purity of the surroundings. Stay away from negativity and the weakness. As you filter the negative content, mind will clean. Slowly mind clean and increase the concentration. And that's where you will, the first stage, the contemplation, is a result of practicing the purity in the life, making the impure thoughts go away. Purity of thoughts. What you see is what you become. What you think is what you become. What you read is what you become. What you listen is what you become. So pay attention to what you see, what you read, what you think, and what you listen. Don't listen to the worldly matters, things. It doesn't do anything good. It will break your contemplation. It will break your concentration. Second, pure food. That is again very important thing. Baba said in Murli yesterday, actually, pure food. The food eaten in remembrance of God, the vegetarian food. Why? It uplifts the soul. As we eat, so we become. There are many examples. I don't have time right now, but many examples I can give is how this happens. Why is that? Next is the divine virtues. So like love, peace, bliss, happiness, we need to acquire the divine virtue daily. Listen to that. We need to acquire this daily. To remove negativity inside, we have to acquire something daily. So how can we do that? And I started doing this when I learned this method. So for example, if you wanted to remove anger from yourself, that you get angry very easily. Small things triggers your anger. And if you want to get away from that habit, that sanskar of anger, what do you need to do? You need to fill that with something. So for anger, fill with the divine virtue of the peace. Then anger will be removed. What does that mean? That means is what you got to do is in the morning, give yourself a task that tomorrow I will be peaceful. Take this fast that I will be peaceful and not angry, no matter what happens. So what is happening is you are now feeling or thinking, here's the thing, you are thinking more about, I don't want to be angry. Rather than that, now you are thinking, I want it to be peaceful. See how the thought process changes. There's one thought, I don't want to be angry. So if you keep that thought the entire day, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to be angry. So you just have to pay so much attention of not being angry. And then you are actually engraving the sanskar or the habit of angry and reminding yourself that you are an angry person. But on the other hand, if you do this, what God taught us is instead of that, you should remember, I am peaceful. So if the entire day you say, I am peaceful, I will be peaceful, I will be peaceful. I will be peaceful. You just saying that, you forget about the anger. Second is you are now reminding yourself of the divine virtue. And that thought is going to become a part of you and you become peaceful. See how the change, the shift happens when you are saying one thing or the another and you acquire this divine virtues. So you do this the entire day, and in the night, check yourself. That is very important. The checking. Was I successful? Was I able to do this? Whatever came, and think about the episodes that things came, but you still remained peaceful. And you will like yourself and you tell Baba that I remained peaceful. So much things happened, but I still kept my divine virtue with me. And then slowly it's gonna become your habit. I have practiced how get the divine virtue through this technique. So there are many divine virtues that you can think about. Humility. Whatever you interact with, you should be humble. It should radiate from your words, actions, and thoughts. All the three should be aligned. Most of the time, you think something, you do something, you say something. No. Try to align all these things. Your words, actions, and thoughts. Pick and choose a divine virtue that you are more interested in. Pick a habit that you want to get rid of, and then think about a divine virtue that should be there instead of that. For example, anger. We saw if we are peaceful, then it's easy to remove anger. Similarly, pick your habit, the bad habit that you want to get out of, and think about a divine virtue, a good thing that will overcome that. And keep that in your remembrance. Not the habit, but the divine virtue in your remembrance, and it will become in your consciousness. Like we talk about the subconscious mind. So it will stay in your subconscious mind, and then it will come in your words, actions, and thoughts, and you will transform. That is what we do. We transform. Next is the company. Very important. We know that you are known by the company you are in. Wrong people leave lasting impact. And we know we are forced or driven with the company. That much power company has. So the spiritual company means we need to have the right person we should be with, surrounded by the right kind of people. Always have a company. Listen to this. Always have a company, because sometimes there is a question, what is you mean by a good company? This is what this is what Baba mean by a good company is always have a company having the higher consciousness for them and others. Write it down. Company, I will be in a company of the people that have higher consciousness for themselves. Very important. Higher consciousness for themselves and higher consciousness for others. Have to have both. So decide which company I should have. And if you don't find anybody with this higher consciousness, then very beautiful. Have the company of the God. I keep the company of the God with me. How? You read Murli. And we'll talk about this tomorrow. And automatically you will acquire the quality of the God as you keep the company of the God with you, the consciousness. Keeping the God's company is the consciousness of your goodness. And you will acquire the quality of the God. Whatever you do, bring God along with you. It will start coming in your actions, words, and thoughts. It will come and improve everything in your life. So it will take some time to learn, process, but this is what it is. All right. So today we learned about so many things. And we will do more lessons about the meditation technique, but there is an important part in the Raj Yoga that we learn. Everything is important. These 4 steps are important, and that will get us away from all these vices. And then it will help us contemplate. It starts with the contemplation of who you are. And that will increase your concentration and the realization. Have the purity in your life. Watch what you see, read, listen, be careful. Food, virtues, practice having one divine virtue daily. Practice that. Take one bad habit of yours tomorrow and practice. And then the company of the higher consciousness. If you don't have anybody, forget it. It's very good. If you don't have anybody, have the company of the God, the best. All right. So again, if anybody has questions, what I'm going to do is, as you have seen in the WhatsApp group, that I'm going to have my Saturday more than an hour, maybe 2 hours, for everyone to ask the questions. And we will have a spiritual chit chat on Saturday, and we will also learn some meditation techniques, right? I gotta go, but I wanted to finish this. That's why I didn't leave at 8. But all right. So please think about what we have learned today and practice. Om Shanti.